Okay, so I did not know this about you until just today. You're a Jersey native.
That's right, baby. Newark, New Jersey. Woo! What? No love for Newark?
Well,
All right.
all right. I mean, but there are some really. I just know some amazing musicians from Jersey. Alex McMurray,
Yeah.
Jersey native. Dana Kurtz. I don't know if you know who Dana Kurtz is, but she's just a monster, songwriter, singer, performer. Is there something about Jersey you think that brings out like that songwriting? Because I actually see a thread between all three of you guys, and even the boss himself in a way, that there's this rawness, this realness, but also this willingness to like bear yourself, like
Yep.
emotionally.
Well, I basically think it's because it's a tough state, man. Well, all states are tough. I can't say it's any tougher than Detroit or something, but people tend to write down the misery that they're forced into.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's also a sense of humor in your music, which I think people don't. I mean, you do hear, there are some playful blues songs with like double entendres and everything like that. But throughout your catalog, you've also kind of been very, like, you've made a point to have humor and playfulness in it.
Yeah, I dig, letting people have fun with the music. There's enough gravity in the world to hurt us all. Let's laugh a bit.
Absolutely.
Brevity over gravity.
Gravity over gravity. All right. Now, you came to Louisiana. Something happened. You came here, and instead of just passing through, what was it that just grabbed you?
Man, I was saying that like, some places on the planet, your feet are more comfortable. And when I hit New Orleans, my feet just said, yeah, I want to walk these streets. I like this place. This is cool. And I was on a tour with some like punk rock band playing some crappy little, remember the Dixie Tavern, I think it was.
On Canal and Jeff Davis.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's Jason's neighborhood now.
Oh, cool.
Oh, by the way, y'all, this is my partner in crime. This is Jason Ricci, one of the finest musicians
right,
on the
Jason.
planet. He's playing with me today at the festival. I
Yeah.
also play in his band, The Bad Kind.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we moonlight in each other's bands.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. It's
Well,
pretty cool.
they say in New Orleans there's just one band, and it's just they're playing in different parts of the city. We could bring it to Baton Rouge for a second because you were on a Tabby Thomas album.
Yep. Yeah.
Tabby Thomas. Anybody familiar?
God bless him. God bless him.
Tabby Thomas.
God bless him.
Part of this whole thing is having those encounters. None of this is just like, you can't just learn this from instructional videos or playing with your favorite albums.
Right. Well, yeah, the Tabby thing was great. Even though I was still living in New Orleans, I would come up here 4 or 5 times a week and play. I was his house guitar player, and then became his regional guitar player. Tabby, when I worked with him, didn't go anything past say like Mississippi as far as road work. So I got the gig. I went in on a Wednesday night. They used to have this legendary Wednesday night blues jams, and I waited my turn. Got on stage at the end of the night. He's like, "Hey man, what you doing?" I'm like, "Well, just moved to New Orleans. You want a job?" I'm like, "Okay," and the rest is history, man.
Yeah. You know who else played with Tabby Thomas when he was really young? Buddy Guy.
That's what's up. Yeah.
I mean, come on.
That's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
One more thing, I want to have you guys play something here. When you think about blues, people talk about blues, and you go to New Orleans. Where do I go to hear some blues? And I'm always like, you got to get on the interstate. You got to go up to Baton Rouge to like, or go out towards Crowley. Historically speaking, the blues really. I mean, when you came up this way for these trips, could you tell kind of a difference in? I mean, blues here versus what is more like rhythm and blues down in New Orleans.
Yeah.
How would you explain like what you got from different places?
Well, it's grittier and nastier here.
It's closer to the swamps.
Yeah. Whereas in New Orleans, there's a lot, like you said, more soul, more horns. For that matter, a lot of times more keyboards. Up here, you can be a guitar player and do this kind of music and not have the greatest voice that ever lived. I mean, Slim Harpo, God bless him. You know what I mean? It's like
It was a distinctive voice.
yeah, people like that. So I really appreciated that big time. Like you come up here and you just plug in and be honest. Don't try. As Jason has a great quote, like don't fake it. Be you. Don't try to be the guy that you're digging. Don't try to be the artist that you think you want to be. Just be you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And actually add the harmonica into that mix, because that's another element that shows up a lot more in the music up this way.
That's it. Yeah.
So what do you say that be our segue into a little bit of music? What do you think, guys?
Yeah, let's do it.
What are you going to play?
Well, let's do some Slim Harpo, huh? Why not? Oh, now, babe, you see, I'm itching, but I can't find where to scratch. Come on, baby. Now, won't you scratch my back? Nothing to it, babe. Just got to go ahead and get on to it. Oh, now, girl, I'm still itching. I just can't find where to scratch. I say, now come on, baby. Well, won't you scratch my back? Ain't nothing to it, pretty baby. Won't you get ahead and get on to it? Come on, Mooncat. I say we do the chicken scratch, bro. I'm still itching, but I just can't find where to scratch. I say, now come on, girl. You got to scratch my back. Ain't nothing to it, pretty baby, just get on. Ain't nothing to it, pretty mama, won't you get on? Ain't nothing to it, pretty baby, just got to get on to it.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, Slim Harpo. Think of all those British musicians that wouldn't be anything.
That's absolutely
were it not
right.
for Slim Harpo. Really.
Yep.
Absolutely. Henry Gray is somebody else you cross paths with,
Yes,
right?
indeed. Yep.
We're talking Henry Gray. This guy's still around. He's doing his thing. He played with Howlin' Wolf and many.
Jimmy Rogers. He was with everybody. That cat.
What was it like? Well, just any Henry Gray stories or anecdotes?
This is going to sound so blues cliched. Like I don't believe it. I actually saw this happen. But one night he was, walked into the bar, a little sideways, as they say, and he sits down at the electric piano because he always played on electric piano at Tabby's, which was great. And he takes a little revolver out of his pocket, sticks it on top of the piano, starts playing, forgets it's up there. And Tabby gets on stage, because basically the way we do it, Henry and I would open the show for Tabby. It was his club, So Tabby gets up there, and he's like, "Hey, Henry, put your pistol away." Literally, then he's like, oh, okay, cool. Takes it, sticks it in his, in his shoe, and commenced to play.
A great place for a gun, actually, is your shoe, right?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other people. I mean, you work with Jimbo Mathis and Corey Dickinson and all these others. There's a story that seems to be running through life, and I know mainly New Orleans, but here as well, where you end up meeting all these greats. How does that happen for a young musician? How do you find your way into these worlds where you're suddenly playing with Tabby Thomas or Henry Gray? Or
again, I think it's the honesty thing. It's like if you're honest to them, like, hey man, I can play with you. Let's do it. I may not be the best musician you're ever going to work with, but for right now, we can make some good music. So.
Just being around like 20 years too. I mean, he might be younger, but you've been around 20 years. Eventually they see you, not once, but like 75 times. So they're like, hey, what's up? And then they're kind of warm up to you after 10 years.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I kind of a digression, but coming back to what I'm saying is reggae seems to be a music that people screw up really beautifully. They know the chords, they know the changes, they know the melody, but there's something missing. The same can be said about blues. There's obviously a correct way to play it, but then there's actually a better way than being correct. What is that?
I totally concur, man. Yeah. I mean, you said it all right there.
Yeah?
Heck yeah.
So it's the cracks and the fissures as opposed to the smoothness of it. But it's also being real, right? It's
Yeah, and there's also a lot to be said for working at it as well. Because what's great about any form of music, if you really want to do it, you're always going to get better. Just keep doing it, And I can think of dozens of musicians that I've known as long as I've been here, and they sound exactly the same when I got here. Then there's some nights like when I used to host jam nights, I'd see some kid that came in and 2 weeks earlier, he was nervous and couldn't barely get through a measure, let alone a song. And 2 weeks later, he made it through the song. Then 2 months later, he's got 10 songs in his repertoire. Next thing you know, he's making a living. So you're always going to get better. Just keep at it. Yeah.
Well, we only got time for one more song, and then there's going to be a full set of live music just outside these doors. So I was wondering if you could play one more tune for us. Bring us in another direction, just because I think of your playing as also being like you're digging into a bunch of different record crates as you're looking for this stuff. You're not really comfortable anywhere for more than a moment.
It's pretty much true. You know me very well, Mr. Ingmar.
Well, so bring us something else. What do you got?
Oh, we got this week. Cool. Well, you mentioned that Cody Dickinson and Jimbo Mathis record. Well, here's the title track of that, Dead Cat Bounce. Listen up, y'all, don't you make me shout. Gonna tell you all about that dead cat bounce. You heard of Murphy's Law, this is one step more. It's when the shit hits the fan, goes crashing to the floor. The blues and the trouble take you by your hand. Your woman spends your money on some no good man. You're living everything that I'm telling about. Then you know all about that dead cat bounce. Now you know all about that dead cat bounce. Told you all about that dead cat bounce. Come on, moon cat, tell me about it. When the blues and the trouble take you by your hand, When you want to spend some money on some no good man. Say you live at everything that I'm screaming about. Then you know all about that dead cat bounce. See, I told you all about that dead cat bounce. Told you all about that dead cat bounce. You know all about that dead cat bounce. Good job, Dave.
And hopefully, after this, you'll make your way down. What stage are you guys on?
The foundation stage.
So foundation stage is just right outside the building here. So let's hear it again.
Thanks, y'all.
John and Jason.
Let's hear it for Angelina Lisi, the next great
Yes.
musician ever, right there.
Yes, man.
And Jason, right?
And Jason Ricci, y'all. Jason Ricci.
Jason Ricci. And your other band is
The bad kind.
The Bad Kind. I know that name for some reason. Rings a bell. All right.
Cool. Thanks,
All right,
George.
brothers. Take
Good to
care.
see you again, bro.